Absolum is a game I caught wind of watching Gamescom and pretty soon forgot about. Absolum is a game I was reminded of while scouring, searching for an excuse to make this week's video, a game I wouldn't have picked up had it not been for this channel. And after 11 hours and counting, Absolum is perhaps one of the best roguelites I've played in a long time. Absolum is a beat-em-up modernized by the ever-trending roguelite that we love to love, and also sometimes love to hate. I know, the market is surely oversaturated with half-assed efforts masking as the next Hades, Vampire Survivors, Binding of Isaac, the next Slay the Spire, and leaving the worst of tastes in our mouths. This game is the real deal though, I promise. In fact, while it might not be quite as impressive as the Hall of Fame, I think it's well on its way there. I'm not so familiar with beat-em-ups, but I do know that side of the game does more than deliver for me and my palate. However, I am experienced enough to know that it is simplified in comparison to some of the bigger fish in the bracket. I think this is by design though, as a game combining two usually distinct genres, both at their most complicated may have muddied the waters a little. Now, I am familiar with roguelikes and roguelites. This side of the game follows a similar trend. I reiterate, strategically. You won't sink 3 digits into this game, but it will surprise you. There is far more to this title than meets the eye. Absolum opens with a visual flashbang of masterful animation work, all before you even reach the title screen. From minute 1, it was more than I bargained for. This world is Talam, shattered by a magical cataclysm. There's a bit of that going around in games nowadays, hey? The overambitious wizards responsible summarily thrusting Talam into a visceral mistrust of magic and all that it brings. In an effort to harness that chaos, the Sun King Azra shuts tight an iron jaw of oppression, enslaving wizards and allowing those loyal to him and him alone to extend his influence to even the furthest reaches of the realm. The High Enchantress Uchawi and a band of misfits and rebels, outlaws in this new regime, rise from the shadows, undying and teeming with forbidden magic, prepared to wage war for as long as it takes. There are 4 playable characters, each with impressively distinct styles and arsenals. Galandra, everyone wants to be Guts nowadays, but she does it pretty damn well. Her colossal sword is weighty, and it is satisfying to see it wallop the armies this game lobs at you. Carl, the Warhammer dwarf of the group, with an arsenal to rival the US military and a bit of Northern Irish twang to his voice. Dwarves have terrible Scottish accents trademarked, so that was a surprise. Brome, a frogman, a wizard prodigy, the spellcaster of the party, with a tongue that licks to kill and a wide array of spells to boot. And Cider, or Spider-Man if he had Batman's tool belt and maybe the coolest moveset in the game. It frames itself the way you'd expect a beat-em-up roguelite to. You'll begin by picking from 2 perks. I know, it should be 3. We prefer 3 random options. That does come later. They are called rituals here, and they are tied to elements which offer a colorful visual twang to any given build. These rituals lean a tad unbalanced. You'll find you neglect certain elements when given the option, but the nature of this game means sometimes you get what you get, and you don't get upset. They're all very fun to mix and match though. You can whip up some insane concoctions that'll probably end up costing you the run because you can't see anything anymore. There is a very classic relic system to complement any build you manage to cook up. Anyone familiar with the genre will feel right at home here. You then pick a direction, and after the initial discovery of an area, you'll be able to rely on a map to take you where you need to go. Otherwise, you're off to the races, and it's Streets of Rage with fantasy flavor from there. Besides a satisfying but often awkward parry system and a tendency to punch over or under enemies at times, the combat is great. It's very easy to learn, but there is a skill ceiling there for those who'd like to sink their teeth into something with depth. Each character has 6 distinct special abilities, only one of which can be equipped during a run, alongside an ultimate ability that you'll never use in fear of wasting it. Breakables and some perks can drop throwables, from simple throwing knives and axes to magical eyes that shoot lasers. For the most part, you need to be pretty strategic in a fight. Some enemies must be parried before they can be staggered. Some employ unblockable attacks, chuck bombs at you, grab you. You can't let just one of your abilities do the talking. The only way you'll get away with being lazy is if you've managed to create a really overpowered build, but I think that's expected and welcome in a roguelite. There's an ever-surprising number of unique enemies and bosses littered throughout Talam, and despite initial impressions, its replayability with its expected runtime in mind is off the charts. Every foray into this world was met with random events, giving every run a fresh feel, and a bunch of secret enemies, loot, bosses, and even entire rituals that had me itching to rocket into the next attempt. Look, it's a good beat 'em up and a good roguelite to boot, but that isn't what makes it truly special. The way they tell this story is masterful and works only to keep every session feeling distinct. Exposition is trickle-fed to you. There are no long dumps with paragraphs of dialogue, the kind that make even the best of stories a slog. Instead, every repeat conversation and interaction will drop a short, unique lore bit to keep you hooked and interested. It was such a blissful breath of fresh air to actually want to know more. Every run, regardless of whether you make it further than before or not, seems to change the world around you and advance the narrative in the most welcome of ways. I love to see my interactions with the world take shape in the form of new dialogue, new events, new enemies. It really does progress, and thankfully in ways that are never shallow. It's rarely just flavor. The story itself evolves beyond an admittedly cliche beginning. I really thought this was going to be another roguelite that I play for the gameplay more than anything else, but I found myself effortlessly motivated to continue on and find out where this tale might lead. The characters themselves read tropey on a page, but the majority of dialogue you'll hear is not only voice acted exceptionally, but it is written with purpose and maturity as well. None of it is an excuse to get you from point A to point B. It is a world worth exploring, and with an art style as addicting as this, it is never difficult to do so. This game is gorgeous, and I commend everyone involved for the artistic flourish that is Absolum. It all just gushes the love and care I can only really pray for in games. Games like these, is something I knew I'd love about this job, quote unquote. I don't make any money. I would have never bought this, let alone bought it for both me and my girlfriend. It did not look like my vibe. I know there are so many games out there that I'd adore had I given them the chance, and I am beyond thankful for the opportunity to find gold in places I'd never usually look. Absolum is a wicked swing for the fences by Dotemu, Guard Crush Games, and Super Monks, and despite a few nitpicks here and there, it's a home run to me. I hope to high heavens that this becomes the foundation for a sequel I know in my heart could rival the greats in both genres. Yes, I absolutely recommend this game. Bang for your buck and then some. Thanks.